They move in the prophetic and they say they move in the apostolic, but none of them move in the biblical. Many people are seeing this little photo, this clip, this shot of this pastor who is with his boyfriend. I guess they're now out, and people are shocked. Well, the problem is, though, this is something that you could expect. Whenever you've got a group of people, or whenever the church is now adopting and accepting a move to where the Bible is not the sole authority, man can have authority, man can be inspired, man can hear from God, man can give fresh revelation, things like that. Well, then you can expect to see this. And now there are going to be those that say, well, though, Corey, these are not related. Those that are moving, who are calling themselves prophets, who are calling themselves apostles, who are calling themselves bishops and so forth. And I mean bishops where they're their own bishop, a small church, or just one particular church, and they want to have a name or a title. And there'll be those that'll say that this has nothing to do with this affirming of the gay movement and so forth. But yes, it does. Why? Because when you see a severe lack of discernment and a desire to promote yourself and the flesh and your desires, that's what you get. Now, this person that we see, I think his name is, if I'm correct, I think it's Justin Jones. Well, if we just kind of go backwards a little bit, we'll find out that this person, Justin Jones, is friends with, or I guess in the company of, this person named Bishop or Apostle Keith McQueen.
Apostle Keith McQueen, Bishop of the Powerless Global Network.
And First G. Derek Hout McQueen.
And we're so excited to come to you at this time to share some things that we believe would be advantageous for you to know as our followers, as those that are members of our movement and our global network that has been called to do this journey called Life with Us in whichever context that would be most befitting.
Now, when I watch these little videos, it bothers me because I don't want to see something that's just turn my stomach. I'm not used to it. I'll never be used to it. Forgive me. Well, no, don't forgive me. This is just how it is. And the Bible is clear. As a matter of fact, let's just put it on the screen. Let's go over this quickly. The Bible says, Paul says that God is going to give these people over to their depraved mind. These folks who have exchanged the natural function for what is unnatural. They'll take what God has created and they'll distort it. They'll mistreat it. They will do all sort of degrading things because of this burning lust in their bodies, this unnatural lust, as the Bible calls it. But then we drop down, the Bible says that God is going to deal with these people, and goes through a list of these things that are in some of these folks, people who are wicked, full of greed, envy, full of evil, full of murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, merciful. Now look what he says. And although they know the ordinances of God, and that those who practice such things are worthy of death. Now here it is. They not only do the same, but also give hearty approval to those who practice. And that's what we see with this guy, Justin, and his first guy, what have you. Same thing with this guy, Apostle. Word to the wise, if you want to call yourself apostle, this is the league that you put yourself in, because you think that this over here, just because it's separate, listen, a separate something that's as false and egregious as this, there is a connection. And how is the connection? How do you make this connection? Well, because in this particular movement where you've got all these folks that want to be apostles and all these people that want to be prophets and so forth, there is a severe, one, lack of discernment, and then two, a desire to want to promote yourself, to want to be about yourself.
Hey fam, Apostle Keith McQueen here, Bishop of the Powerless Global Network. This year, I really sensed a divine assignment to empower people to begin to move in prophetic destiny.
And the Bible says this, as a matter of fact, going to 2 Corinthians 11:13, he says, for such men are false apostles. What are they? Deceitful workers, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. There are going to be those people who will look the part, say the part, but the way you'll know, the telltale sign that they're not, is how they depart from the scriptures. You know, the Bible says not to exceed from what is written, and you'll see this over and over again. These folks that want to have this apostolic succession or prophetic succession, and they're nothing but, they want to claim signs that are nothing like what we see in the Bible. And then you've got people that want to support them, make sure no one calls out what they're doing as unbiblical. Well, again, I won't deal with them right now. God will deal with them ultimately. But how does this relate? How do these prophets, these apostles, these bishops relate? Well, not just this person, Bishop Apostle McQueen, but look and see who actually, ordained them, anointed them, what have you. I don't know what this service is, what you call these things. They're this unbiblical service, but look who we see.
Take this off. When I take this sweatshirt off, God told me to give it to you. He said in 1 year you won't know yourself. Getting ready to take you up into a realm. I'm getting ready to take you up into a realm, and it won't be you. And it won't be you. You're going up as you, but you're not coming back as you. Somebody give God a shout. I said give God a shout. I said give God a shout. I said give God a shout.
And so you see a Juanita Bynum, and there's other people that are interrelated in this and in other sorts like this, because this isn't new. These things that are happening, and you've got folks that will turn the other way, look the other way, and not say anything. Hey, it's not affecting me, and I'm certainly not going to let it affect my money, and so therefore I'll be quiet. But the Bible is clear. Jesus makes a statement, and Peter reiterates this. He says, "But false prophets also arose among the people, just as there will also be false teachers among you, who secretly introduce destructive heresies," such as it's okay for a man to be with a man, but also these other things where they're claiming to hear from God and speaking for God. These things that will ultimately lead people who are not saved, who are considering it, away because they have a false view. They'll ultimately place their faith in a Christ that's not like the one in the Bible. And notice how he equates false prophets and false teachers the same. So these very same people don't have the ability to teach, which is why they move away from the text. And so when someone wants to say, Corey or anyone else, do not mention these people, one, tell Paul that, tell Peter that, tell Jesus that. But then two, ask yourself, why are you defending the things that ultimately lead to what we're seeing here?